Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Collaboration Space podcast, where today we're going to be talking about how to keep an audience engaged during a meeting and beyond. And with me to help me do that is Tyler Rittenhouse, who is the Regional Sales Director at Newline. Hi, Tyler.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining me today.
Glad to do it. Thanks for setting this up. I'm excited.
Great. Happy to have you here. So let's kick it off and tell me, how can we get people's attention and keep their eyes where we want them during a meeting?
So that's a good question. It's a big topic of a lot of the meetings going on today, especially with the way things have gone over the last few years with remote work, in-person work, hybrid work. So encourage interactivity is a big part of what we try to do, bring in the consumer experience to the B2B world. And with the focus on our technology, we make giant interactive flat panels. They're super bright. They're interactive in the sense of all of the devices you want to plug into them. So folks can now come into the meeting room with whatever they brought with them and connect and collaborate as an all-in-one environment, which is similar to what they have in the house. Their house is all a lot of times set up now better than the office, given the work from home models and whatnot. So
True.
People
Yep.
have awesome stuff in their home, but then they go to the office. It's kind of like, well, now what do we do? Let's go back home and work. So having interactivity in both aspects does help bring, like I said, that consumer experience into the B2B world. So the bright screens, don't got to shut the blinds, don't got to do anything special. It's just at the ready to go.
Yeah, I think we're all spoiled with what we have at home now. And like you said, I don't want to have a worse experience when I'm in the office. It needs to be the same or even better, right?
Exactly. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. So as meetings go on, and I know I might be a little guilty of multitasking during some of my meetings, but how do we keep engaged throughout the meeting and keep people's attention as we go on?
So what I like to talk about there is there's multiple aspects you can take that. So there's the pre-meeting, the during the meeting, and then the post-meeting, if you will, and it's people got to stay engaged throughout. So one big topic is, how do I even get folks to join my company? A lot of the executive folks and C-level folks, a big task of theirs is to not have to let people go. That's expensive to hire someone and then have to have them go somewhere else after a while. And if you follow the generational trends, some are true, some aren't, I think, but the younger folks tend to be able to bounce from job to job a little more. I think part of the interactive technology that can help that is folks have interactive whiteboards early on, kindergarten through high school, then they get to the higher ed space and they have interactive technology, but then it seems to be they get in the corporate environment and the younger generation jumping in now is kind of taking a step backwards, like the previous topic. My home is better set up than my office. Well, my kindergarten classroom had more interactive technology in it than the executive boardroom in some of the places I've been in. So that's sort of the pre-meeting side. Let's keep folks engaged and want to work with us. But then once we have the employees and the end users and client-facing services coming together, during the meeting retention, same in the classroom. How do I remember the stuff that's going to be on the test? How do I remember the stuff that's going to be on next week's project? So the digital capturing of the notes, as opposed to the old school whiteboard where we got to take a picture with our smartphone and then type up the notes after and compile everything. Now that's already done. We're doing that during the meetings on interactive whiteboards, interactive flat panels, pulling up spreadsheets and taking notes. So that way we're all, singing from the same sheet of music, so to say, after the fact. And we don't need to compile all the notes afterwards. They're already there. And then that helps on the post-meeting side of things to where we can quickly then look up all the notes that we got done taking, the spreadsheets we were annotating on top of, the recording of the video conference like we're doing here to look at after the fact. And a lot of times these whiteboards are living, breathing documents. So if you and I have a meeting and we forgot what we discussed last week, we just go pull up the file, as opposed to having to remember what was on the whiteboard that we erased after the meeting, or the janitor came in and erased, even though it said do not erase in the corner. So it's
had that happen. I've had that happen a while ago.
all the time, or maybe it just says do not erase because we inherited that from the previous tenant and we're too afraid to erase it, but it has nothing to do with our company. Well, now this is a way to have a focal point at the front of the room to tie everything together. And it's hard to quantify, but there's the wow factor. There's the getting out of your chair and touching the screen, interacting, annotating, that just kind of keeps folks' eyes and ears engaged, as opposed to your typical laser pointer projector. Let's kill the blinds. Let's shut the lights off. So I think it's a pre, during, and post meeting solution when you talk about retaining information, especially when you can capture everything instantaneously nowadays.
Yeah, that's a great help. I hate taking furious notes, even if I'm typing, hard to keep up. So having that saved for me and being able to go back to it and continue to work on it with everybody is absolutely wonderful. So great
And to your
ideas
point
there.
there, it's like, we can stay engaged in the meeting because we know those notes are going to be taken for us. I'm a left-handed engineer, so I can't even read my own handwriting. So if I'm having to take a whole bunch of notes and then bother my neighbor next to me, hey, what do we talk about? Well, now I can just confidently come into the meeting with questions, be engaged, knowing that I'm not going to miss any information and bother folks to get caught up after the fact because I'll have all this emailed to me when we're done.
Yeah, wonderful. Helps to get people in the company, like you said, and keep them engaged. So we know there's a lot of choices out there for boards and whiteboarding. So can you talk to me a little bit about what makes Newline Solutions different?
So the biggest would be our interoperability. We sort of preach to the market we're non-proprietary. And what we mean by that is, in a good way, we don't care what folks want to use with our screens. They're meant to be open-ended. So we have devices that get thrown into already integrated rooms. So when folks already have a lot of AV that they have gotten from AVI SPL in the past, but it's time for a small upgrade, they don't need to get rid of that technology like they do with a lot of our competitors. Our stuff is designed to be the focal point of the room and play nicely with other devices. So we'll send demo gear all over the world to be tested with all these other manufacturers just to get the stamp of approval. So confidently the end user can then go in and add their cameras, add their microphones, make their own environment the way they want. Or we're also one of the few guys that do have multiple products under one roof. We have what I sort of call our Chevy model that, comes with nothing and works with everything. You can check the boxes and soup up the car, so to say. Or we have the Cadillac type devices that already come with a lot of the video conferencing gear you're probably going to want, included cameras, included microphones. So all of the products are interoperable with pretty much everything out there in the market, and the stuff that we don't know about yet. It's technology, so blink and it's outdated kind of thing. We do a good job of keeping the stuff future-proofed for future technology that we don't know about yet. And then we keep multiple products under one roof that can scratch multiple itches, so to say, depending on the needs for the end user. So whether it's an all-in-one application with cameras and microphones all built in, or it's more of a unit that you want to piece together in an already integrated room, the interoperability and non-proprietary nature of our company throughout the product set helps us it's a big differentiator versus a lot of other folks.
Yeah. And everything you mentioned to me just goes to flexibility, no matter what I need, or if I have something in place, or maybe I need it all in one. And it just sounds like a great solution to put into the rooms that I already have, or if I'm building a new space.
We try to be the one-stop shop for your conference room needs, whether it's wireless casting software, whether it's interactive touchscreens at the front of the room, whether it's small desktop devices, whether it's managing your fleet of displays from your portal. We've got a lot of solutions to tie everything together. And the beauty is you don't have to use Newline to do that. You could go third party as well if it helps anything in your environment. So basically our stuff operates like a giant laptop. Whatever your computer can do, ours can do. And that's the beauty of the use case, is people use our stuff on day one. If you can turn on a computer and run a PowerPoint, which the vast majority of folks can do, or hop on a Zoom call. Back 3 years ago, I spent most of my presentations explaining to folks what is video conferencing, what is Zoom, what is Teams. And then, pandemic hit, and now everybody hopped on 4 Zoom calls before I even show up for my demo. So they're like, well, check that box. We know Zoom works.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Our stuff operates like a giant laptop. So it's interoperable amongst multiple devices.
I like it. Sounds like it's easy to use as well. So that's great.
That's the key word. You hit it right on the head. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, Tyler, thanks for spending this time with me today. I appreciate it.
Likewise, I thank you for setting this up. And I appreciate all the work we've done up to this point. So if you need anything else, just let me know.
Great. You're very welcome. And for all of our listeners out there, don't forget you can follow us on YouTube under AVI SPL Info, so you'll never miss a video podcast. And you can also subscribe to the audio version on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time in the collaboration space. For more information, visit avispl.com/Newline.